Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, it is Victory Monday. And let me tell you what, I was watching a clip last night from the Buffalo Fanatic Z-Bot, and Z-Bot ended up painting a beautiful, I would say an eloquy, right? A beautiful speech that was very motivating and something that I would like to bring over to this channel. Something I want to remind each and every single one of you in case you really don't know how to field. The Buffalo Bills ended up defeating the Kansas City Chiefs for I think it's like the fourth straight time in the regular season. And of course, like you're always going to get all these mouth breathers coming in. Like this is their way of coping, right? Like they're going to come in and they're going to say, "Oh, but just wait until the playoffs, man. Ha ha, wait until the playoffs." Don't let anybody take this away from you, folks. Don't let anybody take this away from you. Run the victory laps. And I'm not just saying this because we ended up defeating our rival. I'm not just saying this because we ended up defeating the Kansas City Chiefs, ruining their perfect season, handing them their first loss since Christmas Day 2023. The reason that I am telling you to run victory laps, ignore everybody and all of their trolls, is because nobody expected the Buffalo Bills to be 9-2 through 11 weeks. I want everyone to reflect for the past couple of months, especially in August, in July, in June, where we're seeing all of these beat reporters, we're seeing all of these talking heads, we're seeing all of these fans tell us, "Oh no, haha, the Buffalo Bills ended up losing Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs." How in the hell is that offense going to operate? They are going to spiral down the drain. Oh my God, they lost Micah Hyde. Oh my God, they lost Jordan Poyer. They lost Trey White, which never really made sense to me, especially since he hadn't played for the team in about 2 years prior to the fact. Make no mistake, folks. I'm going to say this again, and I'm going to say it each and every single week until I am proven wrong. This is the best team. This is the best team that the Buffalo Bills have ever had with Josh Allen under center. This is the best team that we have seen in the Josh Allen era, in the Sean McDermott era, in the Brandon Beane era. So you're damn right. We are all allowed to run victory laps right now because everything is firing on all cylinders. This team is different. I feel confident going into the playoffs because get this, folks, we're not even at full strength. Everybody that's concerned about, oh my God, but we have the Ravens again in the playoffs. Oh my God, we have the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs again, folks. Listen, what we were able to do, and I've said this a couple of times already, I think us getting blown out by the Baltimore Ravens was the best thing that possibly could have happened to this team because we have not looked back. And keep in mind, we did this without Keon Coleman. We did this without Spencer Brown at right tackle. Shout out Ryan Van Denmark because last night, that Buffalo Bills offensive line did not release a single sack, folks. Not a single one. Not a single sack was put on Josh Allen last night. And the Kansas City Chiefs, their pass rush is absolutely no joke. So that's something to be absolutely excited about. Now we have Matt Milano coming back into the mix. We have Keon Coleman coming back into the mix. Amari Cooper, as impressive as he was last night, folks, he wasn't on the field too much. You want to know why? Because we were easing him back in. His hand obviously is still an issue, but he ended up making the 2 plays that we needed him to make. All right. Then afterwards, we have Spencer Brown coming back, hopefully after the fact. But the thing is that we have proven that the depth that we have on this roster can also step up when absolutely necessary. Everybody was concerned about our safeties, man. Look at Taylor Rapp out there, dude. I swear to God, that guy's averaging an interception or a game-breaking play each and every single week. Even DeMar Hamlin. Even DeMar Hamlin is in the places he is supposed to be at this point. And Sean McDermott, man, talk about a guy that is typically the poster child and the whipping boy for any time the Buffalo Bills end up making mistakes. All right. Yes, I was giving him a lot of shit last night for that overall flag. All right. But the balls on that ball, dude, the balls on Mr. Clean to go for it on 4th and 2 and to watch Josh Allen march into the end zone and put up 30 points on the Kansas City Chiefs the first time in 35 games. So you're damn right. You are absolutely damn right that I am going to tell everybody watching this video right now to not let anybody suck the joy out of you right now, because all of the narratives are completely dead. All right. You watch anybody that likes to talk shit about the Buffalo Bills, they are running out of places to move the goalposts, folks. They are approaching a damn wall at this point. It's funny, right? First off, it was no weapons. Second off, it was you guys ended up getting blown out by the Ravens. You can't beat solid teams. So what happens after that, folks? We end up going in there and we hang 30 points on the Kansas City Chiefs. First time in like 35 plus games, 56 plus games. Absolutely insane. And we did it not even at full strength. This team is different this year, guys. This team is absolutely different. And you have no idea how absolutely thrilled I am, with all of the execution, with the coaching, with the decision making. I mean, I'll be honest with you, man. I think that Josh Allen is an absolute shoo-in right now for the MVP based off of that performance right there. And I don't care about the MVP. All I care about is marching all the way down to the damn Super Bowl. And that's where I honestly have this team right now, folks. I have this team going to the Super Bowl. I have the Buffalo Bills and I have the Detroit Lions going to the Super Bowl in New Orleans. So we're getting healthy. This is the best team that we have ever had under Josh Allen and Sean McDermott. And we're not even at full capacity. So I think all of us should be absolutely getting thrilled. Travis Kelce with his arrogant clap at the end of the game. I hope we shut his ass down in the playoffs. All right, listen, I'm not sure if like you were talking about a clap back or he ended up saying something on the field, like we'll see in the playoffs, et cetera, et cetera. But here's the thing. We ended up doing that, folks, without a full strength team. Like, we didn't have Keon Coleman out there. We didn't have a fully healthy Amari Cooper. Although Amari Cooper made 2 crazy plays for us, he was not fully healthy. Like, look at his snap count. So look at his snap count and look at his targets. Like, I mean, like, dude only had 2 receptions. All right. Now that he has a bye week coming in, and then he ends up going into San Francisco. We have San Francisco, we have the LA Rams, we have the Detroit Lions. I'm liking this. I really do. And let me tell you what, listen, I'm not going to be looking too far ahead on the schedule because I refuse to do it. I am only concerned and I am only looking ahead right now at getting healthy during this bye week. And then afterwards, obviously, against the San Francisco 49ers. But I'm going to tell you what, I honestly think that we could beat the Detroit Lions. I honestly think that we could beat the Detroit Lions, man. It's absolutely insane. Dan, best team I have seen in 35 years. Brett is coming out and he is saying that this is better than the 90s team. Already, man. He was just giving us credit with that clap. We have RM56 is coming in. Something is telling me that the Chiefs are hiding some Kelce design plays. No way they didn't target him when he's been the Bills' kryptonite in the playoffs 9 times out of 10. So I will tell you what, right? Yes, I understand that Kelce typically does go on ahead and he does get the best of the Buffalo Bills. But I do want to remind you guys of a couple of things. Travis Kelce is older than Rob Gronkowski. And I feel like a lot of us don't understand that. Travis Kelce is older than Rob Gronkowski. All right, listen, someone told me that the other day, and I was absolutely dumbfounded when somebody ended up making that take to me. So I think once you end up getting to a certain age, you certainly start to lose a step. And, of course, Travis Kelce hasn't been getting his targets all season. And maybe they are saving him to an extent. But we also need to understand, what about matchups? Last time we played them in the playoffs, who were we missing from our linebacker core? Bernard. We had a rookie Dorian Williams out there. We had no Matt Milano out there. Throwing Bernard into the mix certainly played a factor as into why Travis Kelce was not getting open. Was not really much of a factor. That, and I mean, I'll be completely honest with you, I think that Noah Gray is slowly but surely becoming the tight end 1 over in Kansas City. Shout out to Osiris for locking up Jones 1v1 on the Allen run. Osiris, baby. We're going to talk about that. The Jays on that, Josh Allen's game-winning touchdown run, and the linebacker from Kansas City punched Josh Allen in the head. I did see that. And I mean, listen, I feel like Josh Allen's been catching punches for the past couple of weeks. Kelce has lost a step. I mean, listen, He's older than Rob Gronkowski. Let that sink in. Let that sink in, man. It's only a matter of time before he starts losing a step or two. I have the Bills losing one more game, and if they do at the end of the year, but I think they know their destination and the ultimate goal. We have Glenn coming in. He's hopped on board. Glenn's Bills Mafia now, baby. Yes. Thank you so much, Glenn. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. I've been waiting for the Bills to get your respect, man. I've been waiting for it. It's been my goal. I'm glad it finally happened. Or it could be that Kelsey didn't have a good game because this time the Bills had a healthy defense. Last time, no Bernard or Benford or Vaughn or Douglas was hurt. And by the way, shout out Von Miller. Dude, Von Miller had a sack last night, folks. Let's not forget that. Let's not forget that. I don't know if anyone is beating the Detroit Lions. Well, let me tell you what. Listen, if any team is going to, based off of who is remaining on their schedule, I'm going to have to go on ahead and I'm going to have to pick the Buffalo Bills to get it done. I really am. Go on a run, win out, get the 1 seed. Blair is coming in. I am not impressed with the Lions blowout of the Jags. We did the same thing, and they had all of their weapons. We have Gio. How'd you feel about Samuel last night? Listen, I have been a believer in Curtis Samuel, and I have been a hater of Curtis Samuel for quite some time. Last night, that dude finally ended up earning his contract. He finally ended up earning his contract, man. I was convinced that he was just a bum, and I don't know where he came from. Now, I do understand that he hurt himself during training camp. He had a turf toe injury, which is a nasty, lingering injury, which affects a ball player each and every single time. It's a long and gruesome recovery process. But he was getting open. Dude was getting open. Now, I do want to remind everybody that I did paint a picture prior to this game that I thought that the Kansas City Chiefs have some trouble in pass coverage, right? So I figured that there really wasn't many matchups from the DB side of things, of course, outside of Trent McDuffie, that I was going to be concerned about walking into this one. But I have to see Curtis Samuel do it to me again. Could you imagine if Curtis Samuel can continue this run from where he is? This is an even dangerous team. This is even more of a dangerous team than I had originally anticipated. If this means that all it took was 11 weeks for Curtis Samuel to come back and actually be the guy that we thought that he could be for the Buffalo Bills, give me a damn break. Oh my God, Dan, please just stop with the clickbait. How dare you use words and phrases to draw people towards your content? LOL, JK. How dare I be a genius marketer, man? How dare I build a business? Damn. Samuel, will he used more often? We have Spin coming in. Samuel was getting open all game. William is saying Samuel proved himself yesterday. And I mean, listen, look, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to salivate over some box score stats. And then obviously I'm going to be taking a look at some of the PFF grades, which I think is pretty interesting as far as some of the more like concrete numbers. But I mean, listen, have 27 for 40. That's a 67% completion percentage, 262 yards. He added 55 like on the ground as well. And then one really bad interception, but of course is what it is. And then one passing touchdown and then one that ended up sealing the game by itself. As my buddy Glenn always said, if you want to beat the Chiefs, then Josh Allen has to use his superpowers. And I'm glad he uses superpowers, man. Absolutely. This game right here, see, I'll tell you what. Say, for example, that I had any frustration at all about this game. It was Joe Brady continuously trying to make those like up the middle runs for James Cook work when they just were not, right? Like they were not. Like this was like one of the most number one run defenses in the NFL. So something to consider. I got to catch up on some super chats right here. We have Gia. How'd you feel about Samuel last night? Player of the game, if you were to ask me. How impressive was Ryan Van Denmark locking down right tackle? More than anything, Carl, I love the depth that we have at the tackle position. Even in the offseason, I was concerned about our tackle depth. If Spencer Brown were to be out, if Deion Dawkins were to be out, I was sitting there being like, I don't know what this offensive line would look like. But let me show you something. Here are the Chiefs' defensive stats. Okay? Player. Look at this sack column right here. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. This Buffalo Bills team did not release a single sack last night. And I'm very interested to see how many pressures that Josh Allen ended up facing, but we're going to have to wait for the PFF scores to come out. But 0 sacks. So RVD stood up and made a name for himself. The Bills' new defensive front will stop anybody. Craig Ellsworth, man. We are all feeling it right now. And I absolutely love it, man. Shout out Bills Mafia, man. We are feeling ourselves. I think he was just trying to keep the Chiefs D honest. They bit on a few play action fakes. They certainly did. Samuel was coming open in the middle of the field all night. We need to go back to that. Listen, I wonder if it was that lingering turf toe that was holding him back a little bit. It was either that or Joe Brady decided to say, you know what? You are not a gimmick player, actually. I think that you're actually a pretty solid wide receiver, and I'm going to start using you as such. Think Dawson now should keep the tight end 1 spot over Dalton Kincaid when he is back, to be honest. John Marlowe, Bills O-line depth is absolutely phenomenal. You can't beat the Chiefs when you play it safe. That's why we won. We need to do the same thing in January, all right? There are a lot of Chiefs fans because of the Mahomes only, a lot of fake Chiefs fans out there. We have DF Forever. It took Ryan Van Denmark about 3 series to catch up with the speed of football. And thank God he caught up when he did, right? JA17 gave me butterflies, no homo. Hey, man, no homo at all for glazing JA17, man. All of us are a little gay for JA17 this morning. I promise you that. Anyway, Kansas City just picked someone from the street and he made it. Do your damn job. We have Huncho X. Celebrate the first pick so hard I dislocated my shoulder and missed the rest of the game. Holy shit, man. My bad. Oh, my God, dude. My guy had to go to the hospital after celebrating the first pick from Patrick Mahomes. Well, let me tell you what, Huncho, I'm glad that you were able to at least learn of the win after the fact. Hopefully you were able to watch it on your phone while you were in the doctor's office waiting to seek treatment. I can see you there. We have extra points, man. Damn, look at that. Did see a few more pitches, outside runs. We have Jordan Smith. Extra points aren't give me's anymore. BS. Spin 0481. College kickers can consistently make extra points. Lang Lee. Yes, it is. Absolutely. Let's say we beat the Lions and the 49ers. Do the rest players for the 2 garbage Patriots and 1 Jets game left, or do they go balls out for the first seed? Injuries stop this team in the playoffs. I mean, listen, I wouldn't hate that strategy, but I just don't think that the coaching staff would do it. Look up stats, and the NFL kicking across the board is down this year. It is not just fast. I mean, look at Evan McPherson, so right over in Cincinnati. So look at Justin Tucker for missing 2 field goals yesterday against Pittsburgh. It's absolutely true. Oh, yeah, I was impressed on how good Josh Allen was every time they tried to blitz. And they were trying to blitz quite a bit. You're right. And so I'm not arguing that Miami has now folded. Nobody has brought up that Tua was 1-7 his second year. That went 8-1 in his last 9 in 2021. The future is bright, hopefully. Extra points are shorter in college. He is a good kicker, but too inconsistent for a Super Bowl caliber team. DTN, what a victory Monday for Bills Mafia. Nice. Wish the Pats won, but it's fine. Hey, DTN, what's going on, man? How you doing? We are getting Keon Brown, Kincaid, and Milano back soon, so we just need to be healthy come playoff time. That is the only thing that's going to stop this team for going to New Orleans, in my opinion. The only thing that will stop the Buffalo Bills from making it to the Super Bowl is injuries, but specifically on that defensive side of the ball. And I'm talking like we need like significant injuries for that to happen. Try not to get too excited. Caleb Fernandez. No. It's fine, man. Relish it. Live in the moment and make it happen. He's missed 3. Justin Tucker has struggled. Koo from Atlanta. Lots of kickers have been struggling. We have Katie Robertson rolling on in. T-Bass at least hit the field goals that mattered late in the game. He doesn't hit that last extra point. It's not a 2-score game anymore. McPherson also exactly. Woke up in the hospital after the procedure, and first thing I asked was, did we win? At least you had a smile on your face, my friend. My guy Huncho, he dislocated his shoulder and had to seek medical attention after Patrick Mahomes, after that dude threw a pick, and he woke up in the hospital afterwards and found out that we had a big old dub. All right, man, listen, I'm glad that it was worth it, Huncho. And the huddle is going to be wild today. It certainly is. It certainly is. We beat the undefeated Super Bowl champions, and we aren't even healthy. The Dragon Chaser. How many coaches should be gone after this season? Quite a few. Albert, I'd say on our team, all coaches seem to be doing a good job, but we question certain plays. I think for the run game, Joe should add some more pitch plays. So listen, I think that our run game has been really effective so far this year, but the problem is that we were just facing the number one run defense in the NFL, right? Like I was not expecting us to have any success from either of our running backs against this Kansas City Chiefs defense. I was not. Um, I think that our run attack is pretty solid, but maybe next time that we do play the Kansas City Chiefs, we're going to have to figure out a couple of things to get that run game moving. Josh, hold my beer, Allen. But you were living in the past when you say Miami could not beat a bad team last year. We have Jordan Smith, quite a few, definitely. Taylor McCarthy Peterson. Bernard for Defensive Player of the Week, 8 tackles, 1 sack, 1 game-sealing INT. We have Troy Thomas. What a great game. I know each and every single one of you are absolutely vibing right now. We have 255 of you on YouTube right now rocking with me this afternoon, 96 of you on X, guys. I do want to remind everybody that I am giving away this Keon Coleman signed jersey. All right. I am giving away this Keon Coleman signed jersey. I am doing giveaways all season long, signed memorabilia. This is the week where I'm giving this bad boy away. If you are new to the channel, folks, go on ahead and subscribe because that is the requirement in order to be a part of these giveaways. So thought that you should let it be known. Should let it be known, folks. Let it be known. We are here. We have James Cook. Run game versus the Chiefs has been historically bad. I want to see Ray Davis and Ty Johnson get more carries down the middle. They seem to slip through more often from what I saw. And you're not completely off because when you go to the Buffalo Bills, right? And like you look at some of the things that we had, Ty Johnson had the best average yards per carry. And I mean, granted, 3.6 is not something to ride home about, but I feel like James Cook just is undersized. So to go on ahead and succeed against a run defense like the Kansas City Chiefs. Dan, and did you see TD give the Bills flowers for 20 minutes on the channel? I certainly did. It was absolutely beautiful. RM Davis couldn't run on the Chiefs either. All right. With Johnson is the only one with a decent run outside of Cook's TD runs. We have Albert Pacer. And the keys to our success is the humble and wins attitude and never being satisfied and never thinking there's not more to learn. The small town atmosphere where players truly hang out and love each other. Absolutely. I love it. Face mask on Ty Johnson pissed me off for a no call. Well, so it also pissed me off when Watson caught that ball, right? Watson caught that football, et cetera, et cetera. And by the way, my friends, have I said it before? I will continue to say it again. The ghost of DeAndre Hopkins was a non-factor. Shout out Christian Benford. Benford erased him again. Let's give Christian Benford his flowers as well. I'm giving flowers to Sean McDermott for calling a hell of a damn game. I'm giving flowers to Christian Benford for being one of the best cornerbacks in all of the NFL. I'm giving flowers to Terrell Bernard for finally showing us when you have quality linebacker play that is healthy, that is moving in the right direction, that we're here, baby. Dude, things are just absolutely immaculate right now. You know what is funny? So I watched both the Miami and Buffalo game. Both teams had the same plan. It's almost like both teams do the same thing different. And Allen with his superpower. We have Buffalo hot sauce. I know Diggs misses Buffalo now. He probably watched the game. He probably did. He's probably crying a little bit. Now that we gave the league, so the blueprint for Kansas City is about to drop a couple of more games. I don't know about that. I think they have the Panthers next week, which should probably be a slaughter. I think when it comes into Kansas City, I think that they have 2 more losses on their schedule. I think the Chargers will beat them. And I also think that the Pittsburgh Steelers will beat them as well. But that is, in my opinion, the exclusive losses. I think so the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills will finish with the same record by the end of the season. Why did they not review that drop pass at the end? I think they wanted it to be a 1-score game. I have no idea. Have absolutely no idea. Forgot D-Hop was even on the team. Absolutely. Played Hopkins 2 times this year and beat him, Titans and Chiefs. And I want to say, like, we can go back to this Chiefs game for a second. Like, dude only had 29 yards. So dude had 29 yards. And by the way, who else was getting pissed off last night when Andy Reid was trying to like shove it in our face with Xavier Worthy? He was trying to shove it in our face with Xavier Worthy. But you know what? It bit him in the ass, didn't it? Because when they tried having him run out for that would-be 30 to 40-yard pass, he ended up making a rookie mistake and stepped outside of bounds. Serves him damn right. Serves him damn right. Because that one drive, and they tried doing it again with Xavier Worthy, and it bit them in the ass because he ended up making a rookie mistake and he stepped out of bounds. Because that was so close, and say that was a vet receiver, we wouldn't have had that issue. Deja vu for the last 3 years. The script is already set in place for us to meet up with Kansas City in the playoffs again. Possibly same result, just a different season. No way, baby. No way. This is a different team, my friend. This is a different team. I just joined. How about the punch to the face mask of Josh Allen? I feel like that we see that each and every single week. Bills will beat 49ers and beat the Lions. Spin. Problem for Worthy is that they ran out of scripted plays for him. Kevin Johnson. Was Travis Kelce playing in the game? I don't think I saw him catch a football. He had 2 receptions for 8 yards. He had 2 for 8, but then Noah Gray had 4 for 23 after the fact. He was practically erased as well. Shout out to the Bills for playing a clean game with barely any flags, so refs couldn't save them. Listen, I love that good cleanness, baby. 2 picks for Mahomes. Call it a bundle rooski. We have Isaac in the chat doing his thing. Diggs is punching the air right now. We have Danny Smith. Narratives have changed this season for the Buffalo Bills. Albert is saying Xavier Worthy doesn't have the size and football sense, so to make plays like staying in bounds. Keon is a more NFL-type player with size and sense to make NFL plays. We have Kelce looks absolutely washed. Keon after the fact. Bills beating the Swifties was more satisfying than any game I have watched all week. We have Maya coming in the chat saying Keon is way better than Worthy. Ashley, good, clean game. Absolutely. Absolutely, man. No penalties whatsoever. In fact, now I'm curious. I'm going to go Bills, Chiefs, PFF. Here, let me see if anybody wants to hop on to the show. Yeah, let me see if my boys want to hop on the show real fast. Come on now. Come on, baby. We're going to sit here, man, and we are going to have some conversations. I don't think that they did a cutaway to Taylor Swift. Hooray. I don't believe she was there. Is anyone trying to jump on the train? Stay on that side. Ed Ryan, shout out to Davidson. Morris might be practice squad now. We have DF Forever. Get ready, Dan, and they will be moving the goalposts again this week. Is what it is, man, because they are running out of places that they can move that goalpost. Morris isn't going to the practice squad. We have Tavoris Carter. Is there any chance we can get the 1 seed? Basically, what would need to happen is that we would need to win out. And then I also think that Kansas City needs to lose 1 more game. And or we drop 1 more, and then Kansas City ends up losing 2 more. So we drop 1 more, and then we have that. As long as we have the same record as the Kansas City Chiefs, we would own the tiebreaker, and we would have the overall 1st seed. Chris Jones is not a factor. Maya, I am most scared of the Lions. Artemis. So the NFL doesn't want to see the Buffalo Bills win it all, so the referees have to turn it up when the time comes. Hey, Dan, and did you see and the host of Sunday Night Football saying that they need to get Mahomes more weapons on the offense for them to win? Like Josh Allen isn't playing with a bunch of wide receiver 4s. Is what it is, and they are always going to blame everybody but the guy that threw 2 interceptions. DF, the staff is moving the goalposts as we speak. LFG. We have when Matt Milano comes back, do Dorian Williams go back to being backup linebacker? I don't know. I really don't know. I have been battling for 2 weeks now, told everyone that we, the Bills Mafia, are going to bring down the Kansas City perfect season. Ashley Ferguson, take your victory laps. Take your victory laps as they come in because things Oh, man, we're feeling it right now. Last pick, TB, set him up for what he baited him into throwing that ball. Farah, Kansas City is going to gangbang the Panthers next week from frustration of losing to us. I feel bad for them. Ashley is saying Coleman is way better than Worthy, more physical. Wish Keon would have been out there and to outplay Worthy. Wouldn't that been ideal? Coming in with my positive energy, I told you if we got 30 points, we won. And we ended up, folks, this is so big. We ended up beating the Kansas City Chiefs and putting up 30 points on them for the first time in like 35 plus games. Absolutely incredible. Kansas City had some holds. And that face mask, that officials play, absolutely blinded. Josh Allen's receiving core reminds me of what Brady had. DTN. I wonder how King Jamie is doing after the game. I'm sure he's doing good. Romo is a Kansas City / Mahomes ball washer. I had to turn off the sound and listen to WGR radio. T. Dobbs, you should have been listening to Dan Mitchell. That's what you should have been doing. I do my live play-by-play reactions each and every single game. I think you would have enjoyed that as well. I called that shit. I said the Josh Allen MVP game was happening, and there it is. Shout out to my boy LJ. He's got it already. Just win February, Bills Mafia, baby. Talk to me, baby. Talk to me. I would like the Bills to go to Bernard, Milano, Williams, Benford, Douglas, Rapp, and Johnson for a base 4-3. We have Jordan Smith. Shout out to Cam Lewis. Also had a nice game. We have McCall. First time the Chiefs allowed 30 points since the Chiefs and the Eagles Super Bowl. Dan, what do you think? Bills and Lions champion playoffs? That right there is going to be my Super Bowl pick, is Bills Lions for the Super Bowl this year. And that's a Super Bowl that would feed America. That's the Super Bowl I genuinely believe everybody wants to see. It killed me. Romo said that Josh missed him on that wide open throw. Morris should have came back to catch it. I do remember that. Bills are young and will be good for years to come. King Jamie probably mad at the refs. We have Ashley Ferguson. Bills Mafia all day. Chiefs look very similar to the 2019 Patriots. Dan, and the conversation we need to be talking about is after the game, did we take ownership of the refs? There were some plays that should have been called against us and were not. Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. So that Josh Allen run, definitely Osiris Torrance was holding Chris Jones. That was for sure. But I think the refs knew that. I feel like America would have revolted if that was the case. So they let it go. And listen, this Buffalo Bills team, all right, has been subject to ref harassment for my entire life. So I'm fine with a couple of missed calls going our way here and there. 3 weeks in a row eating crow about Matt Collins. Dude is turning into a go-to guy. Jarrell Ross, hi, Dan Mitchell, Broncos fan here. Congrats on beating the annoying Chiefs and tearing their kingdom down. Meanwhile, my Broncos swept the NFC South. Shout out to the Broncos, man. In fact, I have a feeling that they're going to be a playoff team. Years to come. Bills have been good for the last 6 seasons now. Amari Cooper is the new wide receiver 1. And the funny thing is about Amari Cooper is that dude, really only 2 receptions all game because he was still hurt. And so I think that we had him more out there like as a distraction, but he ended up making plays when we absolutely needed him to. Artemis, KC has the worst season last year than this year and still won the chip. This feels like a temporary dopamine hit. We have Blair, really wants the 1 seed. Bye is huge. We have LJ. Love how Cooper caught the exact long pass down the sideline that Diggs choked away in the playoffs last year against the same exact team. That was incredible. It was poetic. Was absolutely poetic. Dan, can TD not compliment the Buffalo Bills, please? His opinion means absolutely nothing, good or bad. He is a clown. He is a little man. He is a little clown man. Good day, sir. Go Bills. Michael Johnson. Oh, wow, man. Listen, we are feeling some sort of way about TD Finstock in this chat right now. Bernard Oliver, Greg stepped way up, and Epinesa holded his side, and we contained Pat. Absolutely love it. We have Darlinda. What's going on? Love the new team. No divas. Playing for each other. And that is all that matters. Shakir is the go-to. Mahomes has regressed since Tyreek left. He's an accomplished QB playing for a great offensive coach. I wonder what his numbers would be if he played for another team. We have Ashley. If we can continue to play our defense like this on every other game, we will win the Super Bowl. Jordan Smith, AFC playoff seedings, 1 Buffalo, 2 Kansas City, 3 Pittsburgh, 4 Houston, 5 Baltimore, 6 Chargers, 7 Broncos. Ugh. Talk to me about that. Shakir is a very solid number 2 for us. We have Ashley Ferguson. Broncos dope walked Atlanta. They certainly did. So you see in Miami game, so the refs called the face mask against the Raiders after they seen it on the Tron. They should have did it for the Bills game too, but it had to be clear. Extend Amari Cooper, for the love of God. Cooper played injured, and that was a one-handed catch, an absolute masterpiece. Das Diggity is coming in saying, can we actually go 5-0 in this stretch? Would be absolutely amazing. I have us losing 1 more. I just don't know against who. So I really think that this Bills team does stack up well against the Detroit Lions. I really do. People saying Dab regurgitates material. He literally had the best take of the season, saying that the Bills rebuild lasted 6 weeks and they went 4-2. Goofballs, Dan. They are goofballs. Ryan Greer, I definitely appreciate you coming on in. Listen, man, I'm done with the beef. I'm done with the beef, baby. I'm done with the beef. Listen, what I do, guys, is I literally just go on ahead and take news, and then I give you my takes based off of the news that is provided for me. I sincerely appreciate everybody that came in here and did stick up for me throughout that process. But really, at the end of the day, I'm good. And that's all that matters. Absolutely no one takes a crap on Dan's yard. No one takes a crap on Dan's yard and expects to get away scot-free, baby. That's what I'm saying. A total sack fest. Could have got more. Lots of QB hits and hurries. Von Miller ended up coming out and being that guy. I can promise you that. Ants Pan, Shakir is part of our future. That dude is special. We have Anthony Richardson sends the Jets to 3-8. I feel like that's even another conversation we haven't been able to have. The Jets are fucking terrible. All right. They are perhaps the worst team I've ever seen with the roster that they have, right? It's absolutely crazy. Yo, Dan, the Bills can win the division if the Dolphins lose. Ryan is saying, people saying Dan is regurgitates material. Okay, we already read that one. Love you, dude. Ryan, you're the man. Thanks for being in my corner, baby. I appreciate that. Albert Pacer, he's still good, and I don't mean just in the game. I knew he was hurt. 49ers are looking real suspect. What do you think? I think that we should easily walk away with a W in that one, especially at home. Come on. A little behind, but I didn't see a home on Torrance, a hold on Torrance. Would like Haley to appear in the chat today. Oh, dude, she is absolutely in shambles right now. Bills had the number 1 seed when we played the Bungles and Harsh Elements a few seasons ago. How did that turn out for us? I'd rather have a wild card seed. Did we? I don't think we did. I really don't think that we did. I could be wrong, but I really don't think that we did. All right. Let's check out some PFF stuff real fast. Guys, 403 of you in this chat right now. Please do me a favor, guys. Smash that like button. There's 282 of you in here celebrating with us today for the Victory Monday. And I guarantee you that there's probably less than 100 like buttons smashed, guys. Smash that like button for me. Let's run this up all the way up to 200. I know that we can get this done. We want to get as much Bills Mafia in here as humanly possible so that we can celebrate and react to what we have been working for. I will save the Jets trash talk for the AFC SmackDown, but not here. I'm here to give praise to the Buffalo Bills. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dan. And so I follow you all the way from the Bahamas. Real good content. Keep up the good work. Ashley Ferguson, she's tuning in from the beautiful Bahamas. Thank you so much, Ashley. I sincerely appreciate you rocking with me today and rocking with me for each and every single one of my streams. Guys, as you know, I am live Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. EST and also at 5:15 p.m. EST. Today for my afternoon stream might be a little later or might be earlier because I'm getting a haircut. All right. Because your boy's actually going on a cruise here in a week. I got to look fresh. Right. So I might not be having an afternoon stream, but I will do my best to keep this one going as long as humanly possible as we end up making it happen. We never have had the 1 seed. Yeah, I was about to say that. I don't believe we've ever had the 1 seed. So I believe he's actually playing better than Knox until his injury. Maybe the stats between Kincaid and Knox will prove me wrong. We didn't. No, we didn't. Okay, perfect. Yeah. So for a second, and so I thought I was going crazy. I really didn't think we ever did. What's up, Dan? Happy Victory Monday. Keep up the great work. I'm going to enjoy these 2 weeks. And you see TD's video saying the Bills are the best in the AFC. You have to love it. I absolutely love it. So the Broncos have a hard 3 games at the end of the schedule, and the Chargers, Bengals, and the Chiefs. And so those damn Bengals, bro. Best 4-7 team I think I've ever seen in my entire life. We have Charles coming in. What new gimmick are the Jets going to come up with next year? And so to make everyone pick them over the Buffalo Bills, I have no idea. Played the Steelers or the Dolphins. We have Obi. No. So we've had the 2 seed. And if we played the Chiefs, it would have been in a neutral stadium. Nara is coming in. So Amon-Ra St. Brown's podcast talked about the Bills in their last podcast, and they seemed a little worried. I'm just saying, go Bills. Good, Amon-Ra. Get worried, baby. Bills Mafia has 6 more games in the regular season. We're going to beat the 49ers and the Rams. Lions, we have to keep up the good work. It's going to be the best game we have remaining on the schedule. And so I'm grateful to be a Bills fan. I started watching in 2014, and to think 10 years later that we would be the 3-time Super Bowl champions and be considered favorites is absolutely wild. I 110% agree with you there. When can the Bills clinch the East? I think that we need a Dolphins loss, and we're good there. But we have a fantastic lead right now. Thank you, Bills fans. Y'all secured the Dolphins' undefeated Super Bowl 1972 season for another season. Thank you, Bills Nation. Look at that, man. Kincaid is a baiter. And the person getting the most attention is the distraction to open other players up. I am completely okay with that. Zebra Gomez to the Bills. That's what I'm talking about. 9-2 since 1992. What do you think about those numbers, Dan? I feel like history is about to repeat itself. Hey, Dan, that autographed game jersey is nice that you are giving away. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. If y'all want to be a part of my giveaways, and the only thing you need to do is just be a subscriber to this YouTube channel. Always a good thing. Sorry, Dan, but until y'all beat the Chiefs in the playoffs, I won't have faith in the Buffalo Bills. Sarah, how dare you? How dare you come in here and try and tell me that I can't celebrate? Sarah. You have the audacity to come in here and rain on my parade after the Buffalo Bills literally hanged 30 points on the Chiefs for the first time since they played the Eagles in the Super Bowl. For the first time when everybody all offseason, including you, I'm pretty sure, Sarah, were saying that the Buffalo Bills didn't have enough weapons. We lost too many guys, and we were going to be lucky to win 9 and 10 games. So let me tell you something, folks. Sarah, love you, but don't you dare rain on this damn parade. And I don't care where everyone ends up moving the goalposts at this point because I feel it in my soul. And last time I checked, I think that I'm on more of a hot streak for predicting the future of the Buffalo Bills than a lot of you who are continuing to spew negativity because everyone didn't believe in the Buffalo Bills this offseason. Me and a lot of Bills Mafia in this chat right now did. So I'll tell you what, if you're a betting man, who are you going to ride with? Dan Mitchell and the Bills Mafia in this chat, or the haters that can't admit that they were wrong, baby? This is a different team. And we are going to smoke the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs once again because we didn't even have our full team out there. We didn't have Matt Milano. We didn't have Keon Coleman. We didn't have our starting right tackle. Man, things are about to get juicy. Things are about to get juicy up in here. Things are about to get juicy. Don't you dare rain on my parade, baby. Because who was right about the Buffalo Bills? Who has been wrong about the Buffalo Bills? I'm not sure about you. It's a hell of a lot safer of a bet to roll with us and Bills Mafia than Sarah, the sad Vikings fan. But you guys always beat the Chiefs in the regular season. Different year. A different year, baby. That's what I'm talking about. What's good, Dan? Good win. Go Bills. Go Bills. How you doing? Just found out that former teacher who's dating me, only 5 years difference, dated my cousin too. Okay, let me unpack that for a second. I just found out that former teacher who's dating me, only 5 years difference, dated my cousin too. She likes him young, bro. She likes him young. Sarah! Hey, you also said my team would be the bottom. Touche. I know that they said that Kincaid would be number one. He's just been the number one, but he has played good still. We have Buffalo Hot Sauce is rolling in. Let the haters hate. We have Patrick coming in. I no longer watch. Listen. So those dudes, they do a good job. All right. So they do a good job. Say, for example, that you guys want to watch them. You can watch them. I'm not going to come out here and tell you not to watch somebody just because I have beef with somebody. Is what it is, man. Is what it is. But listen, I appreciate you and I love you. Hey, I am 24 years old. Yeah, we always beat the Chiefs right in the regular season, but do we dominate them? We just did. Don't let folks, that box score fool you. We were in control of that game. I'd probably have to say for the entirety of it. We never lost momentum in that game. I really can't think of a time that we lost momentum. Maybe some of you might say when Tyler Bass missed that extra point. Maybe. But like Sergeant Slaughter comes in and suggests, he's absolutely correct. Don't let the box score fool you. I don't recall momentum ever shifting toward the Kansas City Chiefs at all during that game, man. We dominated that team in all facets of the game. We should be able to do it this year. So we're getting big players back at the end rather than losing them. William is saying, what are your take on Brown not being on the field versus the Chiefs? There was almost no offsides or holding calls. And do you think that the run game would have been better with Brown on the field? That's a great question. It's, really also multi-layered, right? So it was nice not seeing the penalties, and I'm super proud of Ryan Van Denmark being able to step up. Solid in pass protection, right? Because Josh Allen did not get sacked once. But I think we have to ask ourselves, would our running game have been better if Spencer Brown was out there? My answer to that is maybe, but not by much. Because that Chiefs run defense is very, very good. I was never anticipating us to be able to run against that team, even if Spencer Brown was out there in the first place. That's kind of where I'm at. In the bye, everyone getting healthy, and then we play through 3 games, gambit. We win at least 2 of those. Let's make that happen. I'm not saying you're not a good team. You are a really good team, but let's be honest, you haven't beaten the Chiefs when it matters. Well, I'll tell you what, last time I checked, so the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills have entirely different rosters rolling on into it. It's any given year. It's any given Sunday, baby. I can't wait to beat the shit out of the Chiefs in the playoffs, too. This window is a bit breezy, even though it is closed. Zebra, and they were not undefeated those seasons. Paul, what do you think about Bass? Did getting the win save him again, and can we afford to keep him around? Yeah, look, I feel like every single kicker in the NFL has been struggling tremendously, right? There's very few that have been automatic. I think that there is an epidemic going around of the yips for NFL kickers. I genuinely believe that's kind of where we're at right now. So I feel like we'll be okay. Happy Victory Monday. Great win yesterday. I hope that the Buffalo Bills will beat the San Francisco 49ers on December 1st. Connor, I'm really confused about your account. How many people are leaving comments from this account? No shade, but how many people are leaving comments from this account? 3 or 4, right? Because that right there is a well-crafted sentence. But then sometimes I get Bills suck. I hate the Bills. But then next time I say, oh my God, I love the Bills and they're going to the Super Bowl. How many people leave comments right under this account? I'm very curious. How many people are using this account? Because it's wild to me. At the end of their careers, J17 will have more rings than Mahomes. This is the changing of the guard, and this will be our first of many parades. Speak it into existence, Carl. Speak it into existence, Carl. I'm ready for it. We got Jay coming in the chat saying, if our defense isn't in crutches by playoff time, I don't see how we lose to the Chiefs. Are not invincible, people. Red, White, and Bills is saying Bass is 19 for 22 in field goals. He has been completely fine. And so the extra points shouldn't be missed, but is what it is. Is what it is. Speaking of which, what up, Kevin?
Dan, good to be on. How are you?
Dude, let me tell you what, man. My smile has been miles wide since last night. In fact, I'm pretty sure I fell asleep with a big cheeser on my face. How about yourself?
I think I went to sleep with a big box of analytics, Dan.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's what really gets me sleeping. But honestly, dude, what a performance, what a game.
Dude.
Things you've been talking about, so much you could go over, so
Yeah.
little time. So little time.
Yeah. Well, so honestly, I'm super glad that you're on because quite a few things that I did want to discuss. Number one, Curtis Samuel, right? Like me and you for weeks, we've been saying that dude sucks. He stinks. He's terrible, but he stepped up, right? Like he stepped up. So based off of what you saw last night, what does this tell you about Curtis Samuel? Was this like a diamond in the rough? Was this an anomaly where he just ended up like waking out of bed and like he just decided to play some quality football? Or maybe like that turf toe that we were concerned that he had right over in training camp is finally good. Maybe Brady wanted to use him in some sort of different aspect. Like, where the hell did Curtis Samuel come from last night?
You're going to start me with Curtis Samuel of all topics.
I am, bro. I am, because me and you were haters of Curtis Samuel for a couple of weeks. So I feel like we have to, you know?
I think you saw in the first half that still wasn't there. Josh didn't see him. He was missing him. He was open. And for some reason, Curtis Samuel's route running, the way he gets open, the way he takes to break in his routes wasn't on the same page with Josh again. You saw him open. You even saw, I think Romo mention he had Samuel there, he had Samuel there. It's because Josh doesn't throw to him. Of course he did. But the way he runs his routes, the defense didn't respect him. Josh didn't see him. So I think you still saw some of that in this game. But then eventually, Josh mentioned in his press conference, he saw him on his tablet and was like, all right, I got to start getting the guy the ball. He is open. I'm going to trust him. I think the sloppy route last week that equaled a pick against Indy, Josh was like, nah, I'm not throwing your way.
He's like, I'm never throwing that to you again.
I know Kenny Moore's a great player, but I'm not throwing you the ball again. You got to make a sharper route. And at the very least, you need to break that pass up. And you definitely saw some remnants of that over the next 10 series, roughly. But then he is running crisp routes. He is getting open. However, his ADOT is still low, average depth of target. There's still some concerning metrics with Curtis Samuel. His EPA per play, his EPA totals, it's still not good. I'll pull the final data after yesterday. 58 yards. I'm not going to sign up an apology form for him.
Yeah. Most definitely.
But he is a useful player. I hate to see MVS ripping it up in the Saints right now. I didn't think there was a real big reason to cut him, especially after you paid him, stash him. What's the problem? It's different than safety. There was no real reason to need to elevate Virgil to the active roster. You didn't know you were going to get into some receiver issues, though.
Yeah.
But ultimately, Dan, he stepped up. He's done what he needs to do. Maybe he's part of this offense as a receiver 3, receiver 4. But we'll see where it goes. This is a sticking point for Curtis Samuel post-bye. Yeah. The receivers and weapons are coming back, though, Dan. So do you anticipate Keon Coleman and Dalton Kincaid soaking those targets up? Or do you think you're going to see another 70-yard Curtis Samuel day?
So this kind of reminds me right of that one game a couple of years back where Isaiah McKenzie just went off against that Patriots team. You know what I mean? And everyone's like, oh my God, he's wide receiver 2. He's wide receiver 1 for us right now. But it was more of a gimmick sort of situation. And so I agree. So I'm not going to go ahead and sign that apology form for the guy. But it was nice to see him step up. It really, really was.
I agree.
So a lot of shit for us to unpack. You already pulled up some of the numbers. I haven't seen all of those PFF numbers minus this article right here. And then all of the top players with Josh Allen being number 1, obviously. And then a couple of those defensive players and Creed Humphrey from the Kansas City Chiefs so far. But all right, talk to me about some of the most impressive things you saw from this Buffalo Bills team last night. Start anywhere. Why should we be excited going into the bye with the remainder of our schedule?
The defense. The defense is one of the number one reasons you should be impressed. We can talk about Josh Allen. That's kind of low-hanging fruit. What are you supposed to say?
Yeah.
When it comes to the defense, though, if they're going to play like that, and I know it's not the normal Chiefs offense, they're going to say, I get Pacheco back, I get Charles Omenihu back. Like, okay, like ultimately don't think the game's much different with Isaiah Pacheco the way that game went. Some games, maybe. Yesterday specifically, I don't know how much, beside maybe a few more yardage on the ground. Kareem Hunt wasn't great. He had a negative EPA. But the Bills defense ultimately is what you should be excited about. The metrics out of there are great. The D-line, if the D-line is going to get pressure like that, I mean, that was Mahomes. That wasn't some statue Joe Flacco. That was Mahomes. That was somebody that can avoid pressure. He's affected by pressure. So you're not going to get the 1 million sack total ever on Tua or on Patrick Mahomes. It's never going to happen. But to get the kind of pressure that they got on him is really impressive as you face other quarterbacks here down the stretch. Matt Stafford, a couple of these other guys that aren't going to be able to do the things that you're thinking that Mahomes can do. So you're going to get some reprieve here as you get into the schedule when it comes to quarterback. But you still got guys on tap that are going to be pretty impressive, like Purdy. When it comes to pressure rates, he's going to spin around in the pocket, run around backwards. He's kind of that kind of player. Yeah. But the Bills' pressure rate is great. The way that they took Travis Kelce out of it. What can you say about not having practice squatters, injured players / dudes off RVs covering Travis Kelce?
Right. It's nice.
And not only that, the Bills put him in a blender in man coverage. The Bills don't run man coverage very often. A little more this year with Jamil Adai as their DB's coach. They put him in a blender in man coverage. That's why they used Worthy. It wasn't this Worthy redemption game on the Bills. It was the only player they had that could slightly beat man coverage, and they still baited him to throw to Worthy, who still can't keep his feet in bounds. Yeah. The Bills were not scared of Worthy. He needs pick plays down the field to get open. He needs blown coverages or wins in man coverage. Other than that, he's never going to succeed against zone. So the Bills said, you know what? We'd rather lose to Worthy than lose to Kelce, D-Hop, and others. So that's why you see guys like Noah Gray against man coverage on some of their backups. And then you see Dorian Williams not be able to cover Xavier Worthy in the flats for a touchdown. Other than that, like, you dominated in man coverage, which the Bills don't run historically. They switched up. Mahomes was confused. Really great defensive game plan that now you don't know in the playoffs what the Bills are going to do. You've shown some man coverage. You've shown zone your whole career. You don't know what the Bills are going to do. It does present a challenge. And even for teams like Purdy that are game planning for the Bills in a couple weeks. Yeah, that's going to be a challenge. They don't know what kind of coverage the Bills are going to run. So I think that was the masterclass the Bills put on the defensive side of the ball. That is totally different than where the Bills were going into the AFC divisional round last year.
Dude, absolutely insane. And was funny, especially with Travis Kelce. So I wasn't sure if this was just a schematic thing or whether or not that it also had to do with the fact that I always reminding people that he's older than Rob Gronkowski. And so far this season, he really hasn't been scorched earth. And some people are trying to suggest that they're saving him for later on in the season or maybe late in the playoffs. But I'm kind of almost wondering if he's actually losing a step. I feel like it probably wouldn't be 110% out of the possibility. But listen, dude, I really, really agree. And really outside of so that run game, I've always had this thought process. I said, you know what, this team can make that commitment right to the run game as long as they end up liking their matchups with all of the DBs. Benford, once again, is slowly but surely starting to prove himself that he's one of the best corners in the NFL. Same thing with Taron. Thank God that Bernard was back out there, like you were saying, against Travis Kelce. All right. It definitely wasn't an AJ Klein sort of situation, but I love this team, man. I love this team. And it's very hard for me to look at this schedule. I feel like everyone's nervous about the Detroit Lions, but I think we actually match up pretty well against them coming up in a couple of weeks. I'm not sure about you.
They do. And then they're missing their middle linebacker now, Alex Anzalone, a guy who's a really solid player. I think they just said 6 to 8 weeks he's out. That's a big blow to their team. Yeah. So Detroit games, not a shoe-in loss. I know everyone was marking that as one of the L's in their category going forward. Yeah. I don't think you can do that. I thought they played terribly. Against Houston. They got a gimme cake Mac Jones Jacksonville team. So Mac Jones in Jacksonville. So maybe that does show you what Trevor Lawrence was trying to do with that team. It's a mess. So ultimately, Detroit isn't a loss. That is a very 50-50 game especially as they start stockpiling some of their defensive injuries. We'll see if Sam Laporte is back. I'd assume he would be. So we're going to see how that styles up. But I think one of the biggest takeaways from this team that you're going to take away into San Fran, into Detroit, into whatever, is their late down success. 0.61 EPA per play on late downs on third and fourth down. They are so good in third and fourth down situations. One of the better teams added in the league, the Bills defense, back to the defense, held to negative 0.1 in third and fourth down. This was the best third down team in the league coming in. The Bills held them to negative 0.1 EPA. Now, we know it when I talked on your show about negative EPAs and quarterbacks. Not great to be a negative 0.1 on third and fourth down. That's a masterclass defensively. We'll see what they can do as this December starts, in a couple weeks.
So it's funny right there because we see that. So it looks like with the Chiefs had a better EPA per play against us, right? At 0.09 where we were at 0.03. So did that check out when you were watching it as well, or?
Let me see what their total EPA. I have their total average. I don't know what if that's PFF. I don't know what they're using there. I have the Bills' total EPA per play is 0.3. Is that what they have? They have it as point. Okay.
0.03.
So I'm not sure what they're using. I have the Chiefs as 0.11.
Okay.
EPA per play. So
got it.
The Bills is 0.3, not 0.03. So I don't know what metric they're using over expectation. Give me. Okay, so they're saying red zone. Wow. Okay, red zone plays were equal.
Both
3 teams really good in the red zone according to the raw data. Possessions were almost equal. Average plays per drive, the Bills trumped them by 1.4 plays per drive. That's a good stat to look at to see who wins usually. Where the Bills' time of possession was obviously much more. The third down efficiency was super high. Fourth down efficiency, 17%. What does that mean?
So I think we converted 17% of the.
No way.
I have no idea.
The Bills are one. I'm not sure.
We only had one attempt, right? Or
2. One interception.
So, I have no idea what PFF means right here. So
a couple of those are questionable. Most of that's real good, but a couple of that's questionable. I don't know where they're pulling their average EPA per play, 0.035. That's saying the Bills barely played over average on offense. That's
so, which is clearly not what we are looking at right now. So one of the big stories was that we saw that Spencer Brown was out with that lower ankle sprain, right? We were hoping that he'd be able to pull it out. And Ryan Van Denmark ends up stepping in, right? And I didn't have an opportunity of actually checking his specific numbers out or rewatching the game and watching each and every single one of his snaps. But this offensive line did not release a single sack. I haven't seen the overall numbers and pressuring on Josh Allen, but what did you see from RVD? What did you see? Good?
Good player. His film was great. One time, they mentioned one play where he jumped outside to cover the man he was supposed to instead of doubling up Chris Jones and leaving a free rusher on the edge. I don't agree with the assessment by Tony Romo that that's what he should have done. That leaves a free shot on the edge for George Karlaftis into Josh Allen. I know Chris Jones is Chris Jones, but believe it or not, I've been tough on Torrance. I don't think he had the greatest sophomore season. But had a really great game yesterday. Played super well. The Bills trusted him, and he came through often where Chris Jones decided to rush his side. And I didn't see too much. You saw occasional. It's Chris Jones versus O'Cyrus Torrance. You're going to see Chris Jones win some of those reps. But ultimately, he did a great job. RVD next to him, Ryan Vandemark. What a solid backup tackle. That's what you're looking for in a spot start. You're not looking for an all-pro. You're looking for him to do his job, his 111th, and he very much did. The film pop for him. He's very much so a valuable swing tackle on this roster. What a story for him coming off of being a really priority undrafted free agent for the Colts. And then the Bills saying, you're going to waive him in training camp? We'll definitely take him. The Bills stashed him for a year, then signed him last year to their active roster. Was really a solid depth swing tackle for him. I thought he played at times in the Dolphins game pretty well, last Dolphins game. And then into this year, Ryan Vandemark is Very much a valuable piece of depth. The win they drafted Tylen Grable to be their swing tackle, who they're also getting back after the bye. So now they have Vandemark and Grable. Their tackles are entrenched.
God, I forgot that he's coming back from the bye too. We have
Grable beat out Vandemark. Grable beat out Vandemark before he got hurt in the Jacksonville game in garbage time.
So we literally have our entire team.
Yeah,
coming
you have
back.
your entire team. You have 4 very valuable tackles. The best part about their O-line, like if you're talking about their O-line right now, it plays super well. Top 5 in most metrics: pull metric, pass block win rate, run block win rate. If you're talking about overall, I mean, I don't know. PFF likes their pass blocking. It's probably average on their run blocking. I'm not sure what they say. I don't always go off their grades. But ultimately, one of the best offensive lines that returns next year in full. All 9 of them are returning in full. Very valuable to have that returning O-line. It's been solid in RVD. That's the kind of performance against a undefeated team. If you're going to come in and do that, the Bills are going to be getting phone calls on their offensive linemen in the offseason.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Someone actually raised a really interesting question right before you got in here. Like they said, look, like we heard that RVD played very well, but obviously like this Bills team didn't have a lot of success on the ground, specifically from our running backs. How much better would our running game would have been, right, in your opinion, if Spencer Brown was out there like in full health? Like, would it have been marginal, or was this just the nature of the beast, just going up against a team that's solid at stopping the run?
Run blocking schemes, on a one-player offensive line difference, you can make an argument if you were missing a top-flight running back, maybe. But outside of that, I don't think anything would have changed. I mean, you might have had a marginal success going to the right. You still have Osiris Torrance there in tandem with Chris Jones. Ultimately, they've been successful at stopping the run in Kansas City. They clearly had to stop the run game plan. They thought the Bills would run the ball, and they were right. They probably were like, the Bills are off weapons. They have a hurt Cooper who can only run the 9. We're going to stop the run. We're going to bait them to beat us with Dawson Knox and Curtis Samuel. And ultimately, Shakir's going to get his, but Shakir had an outstanding 4th, but they did do a good job for the most part on him prior to last 15, 20 minutes. So, Dan, not much to answer your question. Slightly, maybe could have had a little bit more room to the right. I didn't think James Cook played well at all, period.
No.
I thought he was tentative. I thought even on his the Bills gave him 4 to 5 drive starter screens or short flat passes, and he looked tentative again. That's a James Cook I don't like seeing. He didn't play good. Had one good touchdown run, which we'll obviously take. It was a short run. The other one was decent. He was kind of just open on the right side on the right. The beast run through the middle was a good run. Other than that, he wasn't very good. I think his overall EPA per play, where is he? -0.1. Ultimately, I need more there. That's why the Bills were mixing in Ty Johnson to see if they could get a spark, and they were mixing in Ray Davis at times. They were just stopping the run, though. But James Cook certainly didn't have his best game. Thought he was super light and tentative when he needed to head upfield when he had even the littlest of space.
Now, what's your theory on Ray Davis? Like, his production for the past couple of weeks has seemed to be like dwindling as far as his overall attempts. Like, he only had 5 carries last week, and I want to say he had even less during the Indianapolis Colts game, like 3. Like, what's the deal with that? Is like he dealing with an injury, or like maybe they think that
just
matches up
full
better?
running back 1 for Cook, full running RB1 for Cook. That's all it is. That's nothing more than that. I mean, situations to where they weren't running the ball specifically well yesterday at all. And the Cook, played. You're gonna argue he played good against the Colts as well. So ultimately, there's a couple situations there where the Bills couldn't get much going on the ground. But the old adage is, does that open up the pass? And you saw that yesterday where it did. So everyone's like, why do you run on 1st and 10? And I agree. I'm sitting there screaming too. Like, you got to get out of the 1st and 10 draws. You got to get out of the 1st and 10 inside or outside zone. You got to do something different. That opens the pass, though. Like, most people don't realize what that does to a defensive line. They don't know. They can't fully pass rush. I mean, the pass protection yesterday was so good, in my opinion, because of the average to below average running game. So that's just, the Bills are running. It's a game. It's a chess game. The Bills know what they're doing. They're not looking to run for 2 yards a carry. That's not, obviously most teams would back out of that and just start throwing with like you have Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
The Bills had an overall plan, but to answer your question, Ray Davis is just RB2 right now. It is what it is.
Okay. He's just
I like his running style, but the Bills are going to go with James Cook, and they're gonna ride him out probably for the next year and a half.
Got it, man. It's James Cook season, folks, but maybe we'll see a couple of more big games. Ray Davis when we need him most. So we have a question from Dwayne coming in saying, Dan, please ask, with Keon Coleman coming back, is he more of a big slot or an outside wide receiver? What have you guys seen where he's most successful? I think I'm pretty married right to the fact that I think that he lives on the outside. Just because we have Shakir, and like you definitely don't want to rip him out of all of those opportunities. Like, why fix what's not broken? And I feel like we need like a big boundary guy. And I feel like he's developing like nicely enough to where I don't think that we fix what's not broken. He's a rookie. He's obviously going to make some mistakes. Like, I just keep remembering that one play where he took a ball like right to the back of his helmet a couple of weeks back. But I think that's going to happen. What are your thoughts on that?
He's 19 slot snaps this season. He's not going to be playing in the side, 361 boundary snaps. You're going to see him in 12 personnel in the slot, potentially with Matt Collins, more in a role where you don't know if the Bills are going to run it. That's potentially once a game, twice a game. But outside of that, he's not going to play any slot. You have Khalil Shakir and Dalton Kincaid coming back. Keon Coleman on the boundary. You're going to have Coleman, Kincaid, Shakir in the slots, and then you're going to have obviously Cooper on the other boundary. Yeah, that's the way it's going to roll. And then Samuel mixed in at all those spots, all those specific positions. That's the way that'll look down the stretch for sure, especially coming to bye. I don't think they're going to transition him to the slot. That also then takes snaps away, puts Mac Collins on the field, which is fine. Okay, no problem. But it is then going to put Dalton Kincaid or Shakir on the bench.
No.
I don't
It's definitely not going to happen.
It's not necessarily that he can't do it, but the Bills really need a trusting piece there, and it's Kincaid, it's Knox even, and it's Shakir. It's at least this year. We'll see what happens.
Fourth on the depth chart, if that was the plan for him, he'd be fourth on the depth chart if that was the plan.
He wants him to win one-on-one jump balls. He wants him to win drag routes. He wants him to win in that mesh concept that you saw Curtis Samuel score. That's Keon Coleman. If he was playing, that would have been a Keon Coleman touchdown for sure. The Bills have run mesh before there. So that's ultimately what would happen when he comes back. I mean,
I'll tell you what, man, I'm not sure about you, but like what I thought was absolutely poetic, like was that one throw right over to Amari Cooper. And it almost seemed like the exact same throw that Josh Allen ended up throwing to Stephon Diggs, like in the playoff game.
Similar. Yeah.
Very similar one, but he ends up coming down with it. It was absolutely beautiful. Some can argue whether or not that was a catch or not. I'm not going to lie, Kev. I saw it. And as soon as when I saw that it was being reviewed, I was like, oh, damn. I'm not sure if that's going to stand, but I'm very glad that he did. My question is, I feel like that he was activated to the 53 so to be a distraction for the most part. I didn't have a chance of looking at his overall snap count, but I can't really imagine that he was out there too often. But the two big plays that he made certainly were adding to the momentum of this game, and he's very important. I'm sitting here waiting for him to not be injured. He's obviously ready for the playbook at this point. I'm praying that he is, 70 to 80% sort of snap guy once you end up seeing us after the bye week against San Francisco. Was he elevated for that distraction piece, you would say?
And snap numbers would say a little bit, but they expected him to play 37 snaps, 51% of the time.
Okay.
So the Bills would say a little bit, but mostly over 50%. They're expecting you to play real receiver at that numbers. 20 snaps or less, I would have said absolutely decoy. But he was playing more than decoy. He wasn't playing full snap, but I would say closer to that than the decoy role. The Bills just saw other situations. Curtis Samuel played 60% of the snaps. Shakir played 71% of the snaps, and Matt Collins played 56. That was it. So those four really split 2 to 3 different starters positions based on the formation. But what's interesting to me about snap counts, the Bills really agreed with me. Ty Johnson, 33 snaps, 45% of the plays. That's his most of the season. That's his most of the season by 8 snaps. James Cook, 27 snaps for 37%. So the Bills saw something where they agreed with me. They saw something where they matched up well against James Cook in this game, maybe with their physical D-line that they have. It wasn't going to be James Cook's top game, and they were right. The Bills had a game plan ready for if he was ineffective.
Yeah.
And he was. Ty Johnson was overseeing him in the snap count. So that is interesting, kind of cap off to our discussion in the last kind of round. But no, Amari Cooper played the full strength of compliments there. And ultimately was expected to be more than a decoy. But as the eye doctor will probably tell you, there's only certain routes he could have probably ran yesterday.
Yeah.
Not going to run a quick slant like he would have in the red zone against the touchdown against the Titans. He wasn't going to run those kind of routes to bullets to the wrist. But I think you'll see that after the bye. So it was really good to get him back in it and at least take away boundary. And if they were going to give him in one-on-one coverage, which we saw multiple times, Josh was going to put it up to him, period.
Yeah. Yeah. No, man, it was definitely beautiful to see that production. So are you like coming around right to the fact that this might be, because like, obviously I'm hyped right now. We're 9-2 for the first time since 1992. And Kev, something about this team just feels different to me. Something about this team just feels different. I don't have like this like hidden pain in my gut thinking, oh my God, like I'm afraid this is all going to burst out into flames once the playoffs comes around. As long as this team stays healthy, and I don't want to sound like a homer right now, but like truly when it comes into it, I think this is the most confident that I have been, that I think that we could very easily walk into New Orleans this year as the best team in the AFC. I know the media is all over us right now, especially since we ended that perfect streak for Kansas City. We put 30 points on them for the first time since the Super Bowl matchup against the Philadelphia Eagles, the whole nine. But for some reason, I'm just still married to this concept that I think this is the best team. This is the best aura, the best energy that Sean McDermott, Bean, and Josh Allen have had so far. I wonder if you share that same sentiment with me right now, because I'm loving it.
Yeah, I think the things you can say, though, it should be, I mean, knock on wood, they're 6 games, the healthiest that they are. So that's going to be a huge difference. The Bills were a little bit banged up at stretches. They came out of it 9-2, not only with the losses that they had, not only with the injuries that they had, to come out 9-2, like that is far exceeding expectations. You have to have Sean McDermott in your coach of the year debate. I don't know that he's going to win it with some other bad teams there that have good records. But ultimately, someone who lost a bunch of players, you can't talk to me about losing 4, 5, 6, 7 all pros and where the windows close and then not bring him up in discussions for coach of the year. He's learned from some of his blunders. The review yesterday was not Sean McDermott. The Bills pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to John Perry, an ex-official, to buzz him. Sean is not going to challenge that. No chance on his own.
Okay.
He gets buzzed saying, Sean, you got to challenge that. He didn't drag his foot or whatever they thought they saw. That's not McDermott. That is not his position anymore. The Bills pay hundreds of thousands of dollars or more to John Perry. They pulled him away from the network. So I got to imagine high 6 figures.
Interesting.
Not low 6 figures. So
he's not low 6 figures. All right.
I don't believe so. Close to $1 million, I would say, to do that. And he didn't do it right. That's not Sean McDermott. The Bills have outsourced that, picked organizationally. I don't even know if that would have been Sean's pick. So ultimately, that was someone that buzzed him and said, you should review that D-Hop catch. It was a weird catch. I still think there was more to those angles that we didn't see. But if they were going to call that a catch, and you absolutely can't overturn Cooper's. And they didn't. So I appreciated that. So either they were both no catches, in my opinion, or they were both catches, and they were both catches, which is the way I prefer it.
So
but he got buzzed on that.
Catch was not a catch, right? Because I thought it wasn't a catch.
What, Cooper's?
Yeah.
I thought he had enough possession when the foot was still down to be qualified for a catch.
All right.
You'd like to see that be a catch in the NFL. So I like the precedent on both the D-Hop catch for 5 yards and the Cooper catch. I'd like to see the precedent be set that one-handed catches or over-the-shoulder catches get a little bit of leeway as long as there's like a slight toe on the ground close to possession, which both of them was.
Got it.
To me, I need that to be a catch because we can't have that taken out.
No, not at all.
There's too many rules that already, the catch situation, needing to survive the ground isn't a thing. That's new. So the fact that that tiny toe. We don't know exact possession at that point, but it looked simultaneously. So Dan, I think they were both catches, but Sean McDermott has grown a ton this season. 4th and 2, you don't kick the field goal like you did in Houston to tie it.
I know
it is Stroud. It's not Mahomes. Stroud hasn't played great. I don't hate it. And the Bills actually forced him to punt. So I don't hate the field goal try to tie it up against Houston.
Yeah.
But the Bills learn. They're like, ultimately, we don't want to be in these scenarios where we're punting, they're punting. We don't know field position. We don't know if we're going to go 3 incompletions and out. Like, we need to go take this game in 4th and 2, not go up 5 and pray for a Bernard interception. We need to make sure we go up here. And it's a ballsy call, dude. If they don't get that, there's Sean McDermott haters between the end of or earlier with the interception where Dawson didn't finish his route, and that to 0 and 2 and 4th. Bills are gonna say they choked, they overthought it, they should have kicked 2 field goals.
Yeah, I know.
You know what was gonna happen. It was double down on a scenario of your quarterback who came through for you, because earlier they had the same scenario with not as much pressure and they didn't succeed.
Yeah.
So you could have argued there that Sean was like, all right, they have us good in 4th down. They're the only team that stops us on 4th down. Let's go up 5. Let's make them earn it. And the Bills said, Sean McDermott said, I'm not going to make them earn it. We're going to win this game up 9, which is where we need to be minimum. And they went in and succeeded.
And took it.
They scored probably earlier than Sean wanted, most likely. Like, they didn't want to give that much time before the 2-minute warnings. Kind of a sticky situation.
Yeah.
Because originally when you get the first down, you're like, okay, Josh is probably going to slide. But not in that moment. The up 9 odds are through the roof. They're 99.9%. But overall, it's Patrick Mahomes on the other side.
Yeah, I know. And so especially when they called that Watson catch a catch on that next drive.
Yeah, you figure they are at least going to get you an onside situation. Yeah, they were probably a play away from kicking the field goal. And then if they converted that pass where Bernard covered like 30 yards of the field, if they're going to run up and kick a field goal and at least put pressure on you to recover an onside kick. We don't want to be in that scenario. Even still up 6, the Bills, you don't want any part of that situation. So ultimately, the Bills made the right call. And Terrell Bernard, the difference maker, dude. We talk about it all the time. What a difference. That pass is complete, in my opinion, if Bernard's off the field. He covered so much ground, baited Mahomes to make that throw and picked it off. Seems like a nothing play up 9. That's such a good defensive play by Terrell Bernard to cover that much space. He's basically playing cornerback, and he's a good one.
Yeah. So obviously that run for Josh Allen. So maybe it's just like with these Kansas City Chiefs fans upset, but a lot of people are saying that. So Cyrus Torrance was holding like Chris.
On which play?
He ended up. So that 4th and 2 run that ultimately ended up being the touchdown.
Oh, and Josh's run, they're calling. They think Osiris Torrance. Do you have a vision? I don't have a.
Yeah,
I never saw. Show me why they think that. Is it still or is it a video?
We can go on ahead. Let me see. Let me see if I can pull it up real fast. Cyrus Torrance holding. Okay. I think this is it.
To why they even think that.
Let me see. Well, no, that's the wrong chat. Where is it at? Let me see. Here, let me see. Bills, Chiefs holding. We have a couple of Chiefs fans just going absolutely nuts in the chat. Let me see if that was it. What a play by Josh Allen. So I'll go ahead and I'll find it. I'll send it over to you later. But I definitely saw a couple of Chiefs fans complaining. But I mean, really, at the end of the day, I'm just glad that we finally didn't get some calls against us that would have sort of brought it back, because I feel like America would have completely like had picket fences if we were to go on ahead and get in the picket line. If, for example, they were to call that back by itself. First time I saw it, actually, maybe it was How About Them Chiefs that put it in. Let me see. He said it was an illegal pick play or something like that. Let me see.
Oh, that was on the Samuel touchdown.
Yeah. I think.
Xavier Worthy was open down the field on his play, one play that he made because of a borderline pick. Like, you're not going to call that as long as you run a mesh route. You're not going to get that called on you.
Yeah, man. We'll see.
Mesh is a known play where you're allowed to run it. You just can't literally go and never look for the ball. Yeah, but mesh is not a route that you can claim that happened in. So and then equally so show the Xavier Worthy one where he got like 30 yards on an offensive pass interference. Like, it's stupid. Like,
yeah. Is what it is, man. Is what it is. All right, man. So based off of everything that you've seen so far, we're 9-2. We're going into the bye. Have your expectations for how far this team can go change whatsoever? Like, what is your prediction as far as final seeding? How far we can go? Talk to us, man.
71% right now odds for the 1 or 2 seed. So that's as high as it could possibly be in what 6 games remaining. That's how much of a lead that they've built. The Chiefs are going to win some games here. They have a weak start to this finish. Very weak. But they do have some challenges. Not going to sit here and say they're going to lose them all. But I do believe they have 2 losses coming. I think they're a 3-loss team. I've said it here on your show. They have regression coming. You can't go 7-0, whatever it is, 12 in the last 15 one-score wins, 12-0, and it still wasn't a one-score loss yesterday, being 9 points. They have a little bit of regression coming in the form of 1, 2, one-score losses coming. I buy the data too much. They're the best to ever do it, the Chiefs. 70% of the time, they're 100% in their last 15 games. So there's 30% regression coming to the best ever number from never losing to the best ever, which is 70%. There's a 30% regression coming. I have them 3 losses. Do the Bills only lose 1 loss down the stretch to get the 1 seed? That's the question. That is the question. They can't lose twice. They can lose once. Twice knocks them out and then puts them into 4 losses, puts them into a weird situation with the 2, the 3, and the 4. You don't want to be in the 4 because that plays Baltimore.
I know.
You don't want to be in the 3. That may be a decent LA team. You need the 2 because it's going to be a upstart Denver team, the Indy team you just played. So ultimately, the difference in game there is a ton. So even if you don't, you got to keep it at 3 losses. Even if KC only ends up losing 2. You got to keep it at the 3-loss number. It's got to stay there, dude, because the 4-loss then put you into tiebreakers with maybe Baltimore and maybe Houston. So you need to keep it at 2 losses, but that's why the odds are 71%. I think the Bills only lose 1 more game this season. I think ultimately they play their best football every single year after the bye, every year. Sean McDermott, I believe
ever lost after the bye. It's true.
Yeah. Never lost after the bye. His December record is impeccable. There's so many things in their favor. So ultimately, Dan, the Bills need this game after the bye, and then that puts them into a really decent situation against Detroit in a couple of weeks where you may have a little bit of house money. They need to be in a situation going into that Detroit game with house money. But ultimately, I have him right now finishing with 3 losses. And it's tough for me to say with this Chiefs team, will they have 3 losses or not? That's tough. 1 or the 2 seed, though, for sure. 71%. I'm going to buy my own data. They're going to be in the 1 or the 2 seed. It comes down to, does KC lose 2 more games? I'm 50-50. And that's why I would say it's 50-50 for the 1 seed.
Yeah, man. So it's funny, right? Because I put this out, and I think you were the one that scared me of the Baltimore Ravens because I was out there beating my chest on week 4, thinking that we were going to go out there and absolutely take care of business against Baltimore. I'm almost the belief that the best possible option for us is the 2nd seed, because I think the 7th seed will either be the Broncos or the Chargers, who I think that we would be able to match up pretty well against. Say the Chiefs are the 1st seed. And I honestly think that Houston is going to be the 4th, and then Baltimore is ultimately going to be the 5th. That way, our first game would be against whoever is the 3 seed, which I think would likely be Pittsburgh after the fact. I would prefer to avoid the Baltimore Ravens entirely in the playoffs. I'm not sure about you, because say that we do get the 1st seed, say that we do get the 1st seed, and Baltimore does ultimately end up beating there or whatever. Maybe we could hope that Harbaugh can go out there and just beat the Steelers somehow, and then we end up playing the Chargers after the fact. But I just have a feeling that if we secure the 1st seed, our first game in the playoffs right after the bye would be against Baltimore, and I don't want that game to happen.
Yeah, you're rooting for some upsets that round probably, or so that Baltimore hosts a game or some variation of that. But yeah, Baltimore's the 1 team of that 7. They just match up well with us. It is what it is. You're avoiding them. You're obviously trying to avoid the Chiefs with history, but really the other 5 opponents, you got to open with open arms, whether it's Houston coming here, any variation of that. There's some good teams there. It's the playoffs. But yes, you're avoiding Baltimore. The matchup doesn't work. The Bills were still missing some key players in that game with the names of Taron Johnson and some of their key middle of the field contributors. They're going to have Matt Milano. They're going to have a totally different defense come against them in Baltimore. Khalil Shakir went down, wasn't the same. They have Cooper now. So that's going to be a different game, but you're right. If I could pick one to avoid in the Bills situation, I'm not saying this is true for the NFL, but in the Bills situation, I'd pick to avoid Baltimore at this stage. So they got to do whatever they can to not match up with them. But ultimately, you put Baltimore and KC on the same side of the bracket. And that's what you're hoping for. And then you see Houston, you see LA, you see Denver, that kind of thing. That's what the Bills are planning for in the path.
Man, it's definitely an interesting season. I'm feeling pretty damn good going into the bye. Solid win. And I don't think people should be taking it away from us. I mean, obviously, we have TD Finstock out there having a titled video right now saying I was wrong and the Buffalo Bills are going to the Super Bowl. That was so satisfying for me to see last night when I saw him go live on his own damn channel after the fact. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in to another edition of Dom Mafia Live. Like I said, I have a haircut later this afternoon, so I don't think that I'm going to be live later. Maybe a late night stream, who knows? But definitely go check out Kevin right over on the Built in Buffalo Network. He does a great job over there. He's one of the leading shows. He's my guy, Kevin. Anything you would like to say to the people before we send them off?
Enjoy the bye. 9-2 at the break. You can't ask for anything more. Everybody, myself included, would have signed that off in ink. That's what you got to do. Enjoy everyone's upcoming holiday season. So it's going to be fun, man. I'll be on the show shortly, I'm sure.
It's going to be solid, man. It's going to be solid. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and we will see you hopefully later this afternoon. Peace.